Hey everyone, welcome back. It is Icon here. Thanks for checking out another episode. And today, it's not quite esports analysis. We're going to talk about the bracket. So this upcoming weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is CDL Dallas. Now, it's not quite a LAN event, as I'm sure that we all know. It'll all be played online, so that's probably going to affect what I end up picking a little bit. But even so, for today, we're going to break down the very first day of matches. So I'm going to upload this on Friday, and then that'll be the first day, and then Saturday I'll review the second day, and then on Sunday I'll upload one bright and early in the morning previewing the finals. So to get into this, I have the bracket in front of you, and what you can see on screen is that on the left side here, this is Group A, and on the right side of this bracket, this is Group B. So for day number one, there are only going to be 4 matches played, and of those 4 matches, it's just going to be these beginning round 1 matchups. And I really like this. Just to kind of pause for a second, I like the Friday, Saturday, Sunday that we're able to have when it's online. If it's not online, if it's an actual LAN event, then most teams are so restricted in terms of how long they can have the event, how quickly they have to get out of the venue and stuff like that, that everything's kind of jammed into the first 2, or Saturday, Sunday, and I just don't like it as much. So with this one's going to be a little bit shorter. This video will be a little bit shorter because we're just going to be talking about the 4 first round matchups. So as we go ahead and hop into this, the first one that we're going to start off with, we'll go Group A first, and then we'll go Group B. So with Group A, the first matchup is Florida versus Toronto. And honestly, I think this one is kind of a toss-up. We really haven't seen too much from either of those teams in terms of scrims. Now, the other thing that kind of goes into this is we don't quite know like where the servers are. So what will everybody's ping be? How far away are they from that server? So all of that we're not really sure about, but just based on kind of the way things have gone over the last month or so, Florida obviously had that really awesome showing in Atlanta where they made it to the finals. And then the LA home series after that, they didn't do very well. So with this one, Florida, this one's really tough. Honestly, it's probably the toughest one of these 4, but I think just to start here, I'm actually going to end up going Toronto just because I've kind of lost faith a little bit in what Florida has brought to the table. Not saying that they can't come out and surprise us, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of confidence with their new roster, but it's not saying that they're not capable, right? Skies is a beast, and Mox and Frosty, and I mean, Havoc. These guys, they're absolutely capable. We've seen what they're capable of. I don't know. I didn't really like the showing that they put forth after that Atlanta event once that was over. So that'll put Ultra moving on to round 2, which will bump Florida down to the losers bracket down here. The next one to finish off Group A will be Dallas and LAG. This is probably the easiest one, right? I'm not even sure this really needs a lot of explanation, but I'm going to go with Dallas to win that. I think this will be a quick 3-0. I'll be shocked if it goes more than 3. Not that LAG is not capable. Since they've switched up their roster and they've brought in kind of the young guns, they've definitely been playing better. We've seen them scrimming Chicago, and most of those scrims end up going kind of like a split scrim, right? It's like a 3-2 in terms of Chicago, or the domination maps end up being split. So it's not that they're not capable. I think, well, you know what? I don't want to say what will happen the rest of the tournament with them. I'm just going to leave it at that. I don't want to go too far. We're just breaking down the first 4 matches for this. So my first round with Group A has Toronto and Empire winning those first 2 matches, which will set up them in the winners final of round A, or Group A. And then Florida and LAG will move down to the losers bracket, and this will be an elimination, right? Whoever wins this ends up going to the losers final for Group A, and whoever loses that ends up going home. Did I say that right? Winner goes to the losers final, and the loser ends up going home. I think I said that right. All right, so with Group A out of the way, let's get to Group B, which is probably what a lot of people are excited about. I think that this has the best matchup And so we'll save that one. Looks like I just got a follow. Chris Garza, thank you so much for the subscription. But either way, we have Seattle and we have Paris to start here. This is another toss-up. I feel very similarly with this as compared to Florida versus Toronto. But one thing that I can say about this is that we've actually seen a lot of Paris recently in scrims with Chicago. I just put up a video like 4 days ago where it was the very first ever Paris scrim that we've seen. And then they've scrimmed Chicago a couple days after that. So just based on that fact alone and how they performed against Chicago, they performed really well. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give this one to Paris. Now, again, there's a lot that's behind Seattle, right? Octane's one of the best players in the league right now, and we all know what some of the other players, Karma, and those guys are capable of, but I just haven't really seen it with them yet. So until I see it, I'm just going to hold off a little bit. So we're going to pick Paris to advance there, which will put Seattle down in the losers bracket for Group A. And then last but not least, we have Chicago and Minnesota. And this is a tremendous matchup. Now, with that said, if this was on LAN, I think perhaps I might be thinking a little bit differently. But, man, this is so tough just because over the last 3 or 4 days, I've watched Chicago scrim teams like Triumph, Singularity. So we're talking like top amateur teams. And they've kind of been splitting those. They've been losing a lot of hard points. And we haven't really seen much from Minnesota, right? They're just they're always lurking in the shadows per se. So with that, I don't know. Now, the other thing to keep in mind here is that if this server is going to be hosted somewhere in the Dallas region, all of Chicago is also right there in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, more specifically around Frisco. So if that's where the server is, then they'll be right there, and Minnesota's halfway around the country, right? They're thousands and thousands of miles away. So if this was a neutral server, and again, I don't know how this is happening. Maybe you guys have heard somewhere, maybe there's been a press release or something, but I don't know exactly how this server is being hosted. Hopefully that they made kind of special circumstances for the CDL. For example, I've been playing a little bit of Valorant, I've been playing a lot of Valorant over the last couple days, and in the top left-hand corner, I always have like my server tick on and my client FPS, and I'm getting like 400 FPS 400 FPS, and my server tick rate is always pinged at 128. So I don't know if that server tick rate is possible to have in like the CDL like this. I don't really know. But there's no reason why it shouldn't be. But we got off on a tangent there. So if this was a neutral host, I would go Minnesota. If it's a host that's going to favor Chicago, that would have me leaning towards Chicago. This is really up in the air for me. Oh, man. So you know what I'll say? Well, I don't want to give it away because I don't want to tell you guys what I'm thinking about moving forward. And I know I'm dragging this on, but I'm just, you know what? I'm going to go Chicago. And the sole reason why I'm going to go Chicago is just because they're so close to Dallas. Again, I could be totally wrong. I don't know how the servers are working. I don't know where they're located, what the ping's going to be, stuff like that. So that's why I'm going to go Chicago. If it was neutral, I would definitely go Minnesota. So that'll put Minnesota into the losers bracket here. And that should do it for the first day's matchups, the Friday's matchups for CDL Dallas. So just to kind of review, I have Toronto and Dallas winning in round A, with Florida and LAG losing, which will set up a losers bracket semi there in Group A. I have Paris and Chicago winning Group B, winning the first round matchups in Group B, which will set up a matchup between Seattle and Minnesota for the losers bracket in Group B. So now, listen, I want you to take these predictions with a grain of salt, just because everything's online, and when it comes to online, everything is just kind of up in the air. It's not like it's a LAN event. When I made predictions for LAN events in the past, they've been pretty spot on. Like in these opening rounds, I've usually missed 0 or possibly maybe 1 match. This will be a little bit different just because there's so many things there's so many intangibles that we just don't know how it's going to play out with the first online event. So these are my matchups. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think, whatever you think the matchups are going to be. If I got something wrong, if you agree with something I said, please give me your comments. I'm interested in what you guys have to say. Tomorrow, again, 9 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. Eastern time, I'll be uploading another video just like this. I'll fix the results that I messed up, if I messed anything up, and then we'll talk about the next matchups for Saturday, and we'll predict that one as well. So if you're new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Again, if you have any comments whatsoever, put them down below. I love reading your comments, and I love the interaction. Don't forget to leave a like before you head on your way. And with that, guys, thank you so much. Happy CDL Dallas. Hope you guys enjoy the weekend's matchups, and I'll be tuning in. So we'll talk to you in tomorrow's upload. We'll see you.